In South Korea, there was once a massively popular web novel titled 3 Ways to Survive the Apocalypse. It dominated online platforms for years, but after a decade and more than 1,000 chapters, the series was left with only a single remaining reader. That reader was Kim Dokja, who began following the story back in middle school and never stopped, continuing even into adulthood. The novel follows Yoo Jung-hyuk, a man forced to endure endless trials created by godlike beings as civilization slowly crumbles. One by one, Jung-hyuk's allies perish, yet his resolve never breaks. He constantly pushes himself to grow stronger, no matter the cost. Dokja deeply connects with this perseverance, and repeatedly rereading the novel helps him survive his own difficult youth, especially during high school, when he was frequently bullied and isolated. After graduation, Dokja enrolls in an unremarkable university, drifts through several unimpressive jobs, and eventually secures a temporary position at a large corporation. On the very day his contract expires, the novel also reaches its conclusion. After completing his final shift, Dokja reads the last chapter and feels utterly dissatisfied. Jung-hyuk survives alone, with everyone else gone. Frustrated and bitter, Dokja sends a blunt message to the author, declaring the story terrible. While riding the subway home, Dokja encounters his co-worker Yoo Sanga, whose contract ended the same day. Their quiet conversation is abruptly interrupted by their former supervisor, Han Myung-go, who shamelessly flirts with Sanga despite her repeated refusals. Relief comes when Myung-go exits at the next station. Moments later, Dokja receives an unexpected reply from the novel's author. The message expresses gratitude, explaining that Dokja was the sole reason the story continued to the end. The author adds that if Dokja disliked the conclusion, he should try writing a better one himself. When the service begins at 7 p.m. without warning, the train violently shakes and grinds to a halt. A mechanical voice announces that the free service of Planetary System 8612 has ended, marking the start of paid content. Dokja checks his phone and confirms the time. Exactly 7 p.m. He realizes in shock that reality is unfolding exactly like the novel. A goblin-like being from Korean folklore, known as a dokebi, materializes inside the train. When a passenger insults the creature, it instantly kills him with a blast from its eyes. Panic erupts, but the dokebi silences everyone with a terrifying glare. It announces that the gods have judged humanity as corrupt and deserving of punishment. To decide their fate, humans will now be forced to participate in stages. Holographic screens appear, explaining the first scenario. Within 10 minutes, at least one living organism must be killed inside each train car. Those who succeed earn 300 coins. Those who fail will be executed. The dokebi adds that powerful constellations are watching every move. The train freezes in place on a bridge, trapping everyone. As the countdown begins, passengers realize their phones have no signal. Chaos quickly spreads as people turn on each other, forming violent groups. A woman tries to flee into another car but is blocked by an invisible barrier. Looking into the next carriage, Dokja spots Yoo Jung-hyuk among the passengers. He fully accepts that the world of the novel has become reality, meaning he alone knows what lies ahead. Suddenly, a colossal creature rises from the river and slams into the train, pinning everyone to the ceiling. Dokja recalls that the rules only require killing a living being, not necessarily a human. He notices a child named Lee Jilyung carrying an ant farm. Dokja takes it and hands some ants to Sanga before trying to explain his plan, but the panicked crowd ignores him. To prove his point, Dokja kills an ant, triggering a hologram that confirms his success. The crowd finally listens, but there aren't enough ants for everyone. Amid the shouting, Myunga steals the ant farm, and attention shifts away from Dokja. Nearby, a man viciously attacks an elderly woman. Dokja intervenes and offers him an ant, but the man refuses, intent on murder. Dokja recognizes him as Shin Namwoon, a character from the novel. Namwoon brutally assaults Dokja, declaring him the new target. Desperate, Dokja remembers that humans possess game-like stats. He spends his coins to boost strength and lands a powerful punch that sends Namwoon flying. However, Namwoon activates his awakening skill and overwhelms Dokja. During the chaos, the ant farm breaks open, releasing eggs. Dokja crushes them, earning a massive coin reward. He upgrades his stamina and agility, allowing him to evade Namwoon's attacks and knock him down. Though Namwoon begs for mercy, Dokja refuses. He shields the old woman and forces her hand to crush an ant before time runs out. The stage ends. Those who failed are executed. Tragically, the final ant escapes, and the woman dies regardless. The Dakibi returns and announces that 17 humans survived. Now eligible for sponsorship, each receives offers from constellations, powerful beings who fund participants in exchange for future payment. Dokja declines all offers for now. The train begins tipping as the river monster drags it downward. A former soldier, Lee Hyun-sung, attempts to open the doors. Dokja instructs him on activating skills, allowing Hyun-sung to bend the doors open. Everyone escapes, except Jilyung, who mourns his ants. Dokja rescues him. A new stage begins. Crossing the bridge, the monster destroys part of it, and the Dakibi drops a train car, reanimating corpses to chase the survivors. Sanga activates her ability, creating a temporary path. Dokja urges everyone toward a subway station, then recalls Jung Hyuk dies there in the novel and resets the timeline. To prevent another reset, Jung Hyuk must survive. Dokja approaches him, claiming prophetic abilities. Jung Hyuk demands guidance, then throws Dokja into the river. The monster swallows him. Inside, Dokja faces another stage. Kill the monster. He confronts the Dakibi, calling it by name, Bihyung, and manipulates it into an exclusivity contract. Using shop items, Dokja blocks the monster's acid ducts and kills it, extracting its core. Bihyung trades it for the ether of faith and gifts Dokja a starter pack with a mask. Dokja escapes into a gas-filled city, ignoring endless sponsorship offers. Later, he rescues a barely alive girl named Young Hee-won from a store attack. Monsters chase them into a subway station, where thugs recognize Hee-won. Remembering their past abuse, Dokja defeats them easily. Survivors gather under politician Kim In-ho, who exploits residents through survival fees. Dokja refuses to share his coins, knowing In-ho becomes a monster. Instead, Dokja leads a team to clear the stage. In the tunnels, monsters attack. Jilyung lights the way with fireflies. Sanga is captured, and the group confronts a shrine guardian that traps victims in illusionary torment. Dokja saves his allies, upgrades his weapon, and kills the boss. They earn rewards, weapons, armor, and a broken sword for Dokja the Broken Faith. One enemy remains. Hee-won kills In-ho's men and unlocks a devastating skill. In-ho mutates and attacks, but the residents stop Hee-won from killing him, admitting they preferred paying fees over facing harder stages. They had hoped Dokja's group would die so they could steal the rewards. The safe zone available here can only hold 2 people, and Jung Hyuk immediately claims one of the spots. He tells Dokja that he will only cooperate in fighting the monster if Dokja is willing to abandon the child. Meanwhile, at another gate, the rest of the survivors discover a green zone large enough for 3 people, allowing them to escape the swarm without hesitation. Dokja refuses to leave Lee Jilyung behind. Instead, he places the boy inside the green zone alongside Jung Hyuk, then deliberately runs off alone, drawing the attention of every monster toward himself. Dokja becomes their sole target. When they finally overwhelm him, he swallows a glowing stone, triggering a transfer to the illusion prison. This removes him from danger, sparing him from being torn apart. However, the illusion forces Dokja to relive a painful memory from his past. He is shown the moment he fought his closest friend simply to satisfy those who tormented him. Although Dokja won that fight, he later learned that the other boy ended his own life. Since then, guilt has weighed heavily on him. This unresolved pain is why Dokja despised the novel's ending, where Jung Hyuk survived by sacrificing everyone else. Dokja longs for a conclusion where the hero doesn't stand alone, but survives together with those he cares about. Suddenly, Jung Hyuk invades the illusion using a special ability. He bluntly tells Dokja that he should have confronted his tormentors instead of turning against his friend. Jung Hyuk admits that he once thought the same way Dokja did, but countless battles taught him that humanity is irredeemable. When Dokja wakes up the next morning, he realizes his teammates carried him to a secluded room while he was unconscious. They defended him from the monsters, and in the process, Hyun-sung was badly injured. Dokja remembers that this is the day Hyun-sung is destined to face the dragon. To prevent that fate, Dokja understands that he may need to take Hyun-sung's place and die instead. A system announcement declares that only 57 people remain alive. Bi-hyung explains that the constellations are furious because cooperation occurred instead of competition. As punishment, only a single green zone will appear. When the countdown ends, only whoever stands inside it will survive. The green zone manifests beneath Pildu, who remains calm and unfazed. Dokja approaches Ga, revealing that he has a strategy and asking for her assistance. She refuses. In response, Dokja reminds her of how she murdered her own classmates to clear the first scenario. Overcome with emotion, Ga breaks down and walks away. Dokja then contacts Bi-hyung, who reveals that the constellations are obsessed with Dokja and flooding him with donations. Dokja orders Bi-hyung to convert all contributions into coins. Armed with this wealth, he approaches Pildu and offers to hire him using every coin he has. Pildu accepts. He relinquishes control of the glowing zone to Dokja, who immediately begins destroying it with his sword. The crowd panics and tries to intervene, but at the last moment, Ga understands Dokja's intention. She fires at the green zone, shattering it completely. As the light fades, Dokja declares that if everyone had chosen cooperation from the beginning, no one would have needed to die.
In outer space, the dragon transforms its body into something steel-like, which wasn't in the novel. Jung Hyuk tries to attack it and his sword gets shattered, so he summons a new one and tries again. The dragon quickly overpowers him and stabs him with his own weapon. This doesn't stop Jung Hyuk from trying over and over again. Dokja opens his starter kit and swallows an item that will protect him from the flames. Sangha uses her web to drag Jung Hyuk out of the monster's grasp and Dokja takes over the fight. The dragon keeps bringing him down, but at least its fire does nothing. While the dragon's distracted, a huge monster tackles it to the ground. It turns out that since this creature is a bug, Gil-young can control it, although he feels the pain that the monster does. Unfortunately, the dragon is too strong and is beating the bug up, which may kill Gil-young soon. Yen-sung refuses to lose another friend and rushes to fight, which awakens his special skill. The gauntlet transforms into a shield that stops the dragon's attacks and the ground rises to block it. Then Sangha creates a web bridge for Hee-won to jump on. She lands on the dragon's back to slash its body a few times. Now Yen-sung can break through the wall to push the dragon down and Dokja tries to stab it. However, the dragon flies up to escape. A flashback reveals that the plan is to stab the dragon's core to kill it, but that will also kill the attacker. The mission reward will give them an item to revive one person. Sangha shoots web again and restrains the dragon while Dokja jumps to finally stab it in the chest, but the sword doesn't go through. Ga shoots the dragon's chest to make a crack, only for the monster to push Dokja off. The chest closes the wound and the team loses all hope. Suddenly Jung Hyuk finishes killing the rest of the monsters and fights the dragon again. After exchanging a few blows, he manages to pierce the core, and the dragon's breath covers them both in fire. Just like the novel, Jung Hyuk's flaming body falls to the ground and his skill activates to send him back. Dokja watches how everyone is starting to disappear and thinks it's over. At that moment, he's shocked to see that the author has accepted his trade in the market and has sent him the Ether of Faith. Dokja immediately puts it in his sword to transform it into the attribute weapon. The rest of the team surrounds the dragon and keeps it distracted, giving Dokja time to jump on it and finally kill it. The voice announces that the stage is over and Dokja revives Jung Hyuk with a reward. The station turns back to normal and Jung Hyuk is surprised to see that Dokja survived the dragon's death, thanks to the special sword. The crowd celebrates and now Dokja is sure they can write a new ending for the story. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.